UFC 308, Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway just ended, and this is going to be my post-fight recap of the main event. Ilia Topuria brutally KO'd Max Holloway in the third round to defend his featherweight title and to become the BMF champ. Let's be honest here, okay? I'm going to do a full card breakdown of UFC 308. Haven't done it yet. I already did a full breakdown of Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. I will link that down in the description if you want to go check that out. But Ilia Topuria gets it done via third round KO. And I know a lot of people think I hate Max because I was confident in Ilia Topuria. That is not the case. That is not the case at all. I just thought Topuria was going to win. I just thought he was going to win, and he went out there and won. And realistically, and I hate to say this because I know a lot of people are going to get butthurt, Topuria's 2-0. He's 2-0 against Max Holloway because let's break down the fight round by round. It lasted 3 rounds. First round, Ilia Topuria comes out and does this. Now, this can mean 2 things. You know, this can be the taunt that Alex Pereira did when he brutally KO'd Jamal Hill, or this is kind of the gesture that Max Holloway did before he pointed to the center of the cage when he KO'd Justin Gaethje, who was already a wounded animal who had been eye gouged and beaten for 4.5 rounds. And then he brutally KO'd him at the tail end of round 5 of UFC 300. Well, he won the BMF belt. Topuria said, look, I'm going to challenge you the first 10 seconds. And Topuria went out there. He did this. He pointed to the center. Max Holloway wanted nothing to do with it. I'm going to be honest. I like Max Holloway. I know people think I don't because I picked Topuria. And, I said Topuria destroyed him in that recent interview. This right here, strip Max Holloway of the BMF title. You can't be the BMF and turn down that. I mean, Justin Gaethje was battered for 4.5 rounds, eye gouged multiple times, broken nose. And he said, you know what? I'll go to the center and I'll swing and try to get a win. Holloway's fresh. He claims to be the best boxer in the UFC. I knew right then and there. I was already confident in my pick. And the only reason I'm harping on this so hard right now is because I knew right then and there the fight was over. Because that told me that Holloway was scared of Ilia Topuria's power. That's what it told me. First round, mildly competitive. Max is basically just circling. Landed some jabs, but really Topuria's cutting him off, throwing good combinations. Max is landing some teeps. Maybe a minute and a half into the first round, double leg from Topuria, gets him down with ease. Doesn't do anything with it. Max works his way back up, and Topuria starts chopping the legs over and over and over again, landing really good calf kicks. Topuria is backing him up against the fence, landing good combinations. Towards the end of the round, Max started to actually come on strong. He was popping some jabs. He was landing some leg kicks of his own. It was like maybe the last minute or so, and Max even landed, I believe it was an elbow. And at the last, like, maybe 10 seconds of the round, it looked like Topuria dropped Max, but it was really more of a slip. But I still thought that Topuria in the first round, he clearly won the first round in my opinion, landed the harder shots. Max just came on strong towards the last, like, minute and a half, landing some good jabs and some good leg kicks and that elbow. Second round, most competitive round of the entire fight. First, like, 30 seconds of the second round, Max landed a really good jab and a right hand. Max was using some oblique kicks in the second round. I believe he actually threw a couple of oblique kicks in the first round as well, but really started to use the oblique kicks in the second round, start landing some combinations, was going to the body. He was throwing a lot of volume, but not really putting a whole lot behind it. Some more front kick teeps to the body, Sean Strickland style. And Topuria was kind of chasing him down a bit, and Max was avoiding the big shots, eating some of them, but he started landing some calf kicks again. Which, I mean, Topuria's calf kicks were destroying Max's lead leg. Topuria started ripping to the body a little bit, pumping some jabs to the body himself. There was a big left hook from Topuria, landed in the second round. And Topuria really was pressuring heavy, I think, like the back half of the second round and finding some combinations. And Max was just circling off. Late, there was a big right hand from Max Holloway and a spinning back kick to the body. I think round 2 was really, really close. I thought Topuria edged it out. I thought he landed the bigger shots. When he did commit to some of those combinations, he would land like a good right hand here, a good left hand there. And I just thought that combined with the calf kicks, combined with a couple, body shots that he threw, I thought he won the second round. So I had Topuria up 2 rounds going into the third, but Max was starting to find the jab and kind of bust up like the right eye of Ilia Topuria. I'm going to be honest. First round, like first 4 minutes of the first round or so, I really thought, okay, Topuria is really going to run away with it. I knew he was going to win, but I was like, man, he's really going to run away with it. Then second round, I was like, okay, Max is making this competitive. And then the third round, Topuria just came out was super aggressive, landing leg kicks. Max spammed like 3 oblique kicks that kind of landed. There was a right hand that hurt Max Holloway. You know, he landed, he turned over his hips, he landed it. Max's head kind of snapped back a little bit, and you could tell Max was rocked. Topuria immediately goes for the kill, backs him up against the fence, is ripping to the body, ripping upstairs. Holloway circles out, and it's like, okay, Max is going to get away. Topuria starts chasing him down. I think he lands another right hand, and then boom, picture perfect left hand puts Max Holloway down and finishes him off with hammer fist. I mean, it was an incredible finish. Max Holloway went out cold. He went out cold. It was kind of like the Jamal Hill, Alex Pereira finish where, you know, the hammer fist kind of put him to sleep, but he woke back up. It was more like a flash KO. But Max was out, man. This was a great win from Ilia Topuria. And Ilia defends his featherweight title. And in my opinion, he's the BMF champ. I don't care what anyone says. And we're going to talk about the BMF curse here in a second. But man, Ilia Topuria, first off, I said this in my Hamzat Robert Whitaker video, which I encourage you to go check out. 2 stars were born tonight. They already had some star power, but Hamzat Chimaev's star power went through the roof tonight at UFC 308. So did Ilia Topuria's. It really went through the roof. I mean, to beat Volkanovski and Max Holloway back-to-back is an incredible feat. I mean, an absolute incredible feat. And really, I know it was competitive. I know the fight was competitive. But Topuria was winning, man. The grappling was really solid, and he didn't even really need it. I think he just mixed that in there to kind of get Max Holloway thinking about it. He was abusing the calves, and he finished him on the feet. It's not like, oh, it was a lucky shot. No, he was landing these shots the entire fight. Max was just rolling with him a little bit better. And Max is known for an unbelievable chin. And Topuria went out there, that left hand, I mean, it was over no matter what. There was no surviving that left hand. Horrible camera angle change, by the way. When they changed the camera angle for the follow-up shots, you couldn't even barely see what was going on. You had to see it in the replay. So, you know, UFC kind of messed that one up, fumbled that one. But I'll tell you right now, Topuria is a star after tonight. I'm not saying he's a Conor McGregor star, but he's getting there, boys. I think Topuria has the potential to be a Conor McGregor level star. Yes, I said that. And I think also he's the fighter of the year. He's the fighter of the year. Beating Volkanovski and Max Holloway back-to-back is much better than anything else anybody's done this year. I don't care if Pereira's won 3 fights against Jamal Hill coming back from an Achilles injury, Yuri Prohaska on short notice, or Khalil Roundtree, number 8 in the division. Topuria, fighter of the year. Fighter of the year, undeniable in my opinion. Also, hot take, Topuria should be above John Jones in the pound-for-pound rankings. John Jones has 1 win in 4 years against Cyril Gane. One win. Yeah. 1 win in 4 years. Really 1 win in 4.5 years. That's crazy, right? Because you would go back to, what, February of 2020 for Jones' last win before Cyril Gane? Yeah. That's insane. Yeah, so put Topuria ahead of John Jones in the pound for pound. You know, his boxing was just way better. Just way better than Max Holloway. And the power differential. You could tell Max's strategy was the teep, jab, and footwork. And Topuria's strategy was chop the lead leg, limit the mobility of Max Holloway, and hunt him down and take his head off. And that's what he said in the lead up to this fight. And I knew, I mean, the second I saw him say, okay, let's stand and bang the first 10 seconds. And Max was like, I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. I knew it was over right then and there. He didn't want the smoke. And I know people love Max, and a lot of people were rooting for Max. He didn't want the smoke. This is the beginning of a new era. This is the Ilia Topuria era. Because right now, looking at the rankings, let me pull them up right now. I don't know who beats Ilia Topuria, boys. Diego Lopez would get absolutely smoked by Ilia Topuria. Okay? Yair Rodriguez would get absolutely smoked by Ilia Topuria. Movsar Evloev is the only guy that has a chance to beat Ilia Topuria, and I don't like his chances either. Because he's going to have to grapple heavy. Topuria has amazing grappling. And the power of Topuria, man, he could put anyone out. And this is with the new gloves. This is with the new gloves, where a lot of people think the power's kind of diminished with the new gloves. So I think Topuria, being young, being promotable, excellent on the mic. He went off about Conor McGregor afterwards because Conor McGregor, of course, is an absolute attention whore and can't stand anyone gaining any star power in the UFC without talking about him. He even went off on him and, you know, had some things to say about Conor McGregor where he basically said, if I ever see him, I'm going to wreck him. Something along those lines. I don't remember exactly what it is. But, you know, I just can't, you know, heap enough praise on Ilia Topuria. He's so skilled. I've been a believer in Topuria since he came into the UFC. And I regret not picking him against Volkanovski, but I just thought, you know what? Volkanovski's so good. He looks unbeatable at 145. And Topuria went out there and chinned him. And I feel like no one was robbed more by Volkanovski stepping in on short notice against Islam Makhachev than Ilia Topuria. Because imagine how crazy that KO would have been. I want you guys to imagine this. I talked about this recently. Had Volk, who was coming off the first fight against Islam, where people were saying that he won even though he didn't, which led to his inevitable downfall. Imagine that Volkanovski, who then starts Yair Rodriguez. Imagine him coming in against Ilia Topuria and getting smoked. That would have been an unbelievable amount of hype bestowed upon Topuria. So I feel like he got robbed a little bit. I think it diminished that win just a little bit. And now how can you deny him? He beats Max Holloway, who's on an incredible tear, coming off a KO win against Justin Gaethje. And, I make the jokes about the BMF. Topuria's a real BMF. He is. He is. And you know what I did see? And I don't want to sit here and criticize Max. I was sad to see him get KO'd. I've been a huge Max fan. I remember watching UFC 172. I was there live. Max Holloway versus Andre Fili. And I remember saying, this guy's going to be a future champion one day. This guy's going to be a future champion. I don't think I said one day at the end because that's kind of a double negative or a double positive or whatever the hell it is. But I seen him afterwards. Topuria's strutting around with the UFC belt and the BMF belt. And Max is like, yeah, I don't know why he's doing that. That was at a different weight class and this and that. Like, what? So first off, you consider yourself the BMF, but you're not going to stand and bang unless you beat him up for 4.5 rounds and eye gouged him. And now you want to say the guy's not the BMF because it wasn't at the right weight class that you won it. I don't know, man. I don't want to make this a shit on Max because I do truly feel bad for Max because he's never going to be champion ever again. I know you guys don't want to hear that. He will never be champion again, especially not at featherweight. I believe his best bet is to go to 155. He kind of looked drained going into this fight. He looks strained. It seems like the weight cuts are kind of tough on him in general. And I just think it's best for him to probably go to 155. He can kind of get a fresh start there. He doesn't have to cut as much weight. He already beat Justin Gaethje, who's like a top 5 guy. Fresh matchup at the top. Islam needs contenders. To be honest, Max gets one big win at lightweight. They'll give him a title shot. If Islam beats Arman, there's nobody else. Oh, wouldn't that be sweet? Imagine Chandler somehow beats Oliveira. Tries to claim a title shot, but in the meantime, Holloway beats somebody else. Who else could he beat? Who could Holloway beat at lightweight right now? Max Holloway's ranked number 5. Book him against Dustin Poirier. If he beats Dustin Poirier, give him a title shot. If Islam beats Arman, obviously, we need that fight first. There you go. Max is one fight away from a title shot at lightweight. He would get mauled by Islam Makhachev. He'd get wrecked by Islam Makhachev. But it'd still be interesting because Max would have put on weight and maybe not dealing with the weight cut. Maybe he can be a little bit more refreshed at 155. So, great win from Ilia Topuria. Let's talk about the BMF curse real quick because I keep seeing people say, the BMF curse, the BMF curse. Because you have Justin Gaethje, who won the BMF and got brutally starched out cold by Max Holloway. Max Holloway won the BMF, got brutally starched out cold by Ilia Topuria. You have Jorge Masvidal win the BMF and get brutally starched out cold by Kamaru Usman. Listen, guys, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but you know why? There is no BMF curse. That's a myth. When you're giving out participation trophies for second best, essentially, for fan favorite, really not even second best, this is what's going to happen. Let's give out a participation trophy, and then let's use that participation trophy to justify giving you a title shot against the best. And I'm not saying Max didn't deserve a title fight. I have no problem with him getting a title fight. He's a former featherweight champion himself. But when you're giving out these participation trophies for, oh, you're a fan favorite, you're a BMF. Oh, yeah, it's a WWE title, basically. It's a made-up title, just so the UFC can pretend they have a title to headline a pay-per-view. That's all it is. So when you do that and then you justify that to give them a title shot, they step in there with a Kamaru Usman. When, they step in there, who else was the BMF? Justin Gaethje. Well, that was... Justin Gaethje was... They just needed a main event for 291. So, but when you step in there... Well, I guess that really doesn't add up there. Because Justin Gaethje got chinned by Max Holloway, but Max Holloway was an undisputed champion at one time. You get my point, okay? Jorge Masvidal BMF gets chinned by Kamaru Usman because guess what? It was nothing more than a participation trophy. Justin Gaethje wins it. Okay, he gets starched by Max Holloway. That one really isn't the same because Max wasn't a champion at the time. And then Max wins the BMF. Everyone's hyping him up off the BMF. He didn't beat a champion to be there. He beat Korean Zombie before that. So he goes out there against Ilia Topuria. Oh, I'm the BMF. You might as well call yourself the hardcore WWE title holder. And then gets chinned. Like, I expect it. You know, I hate to brag. I went 12 out of 13 tonight, boys. Got the Hamzat pick right. First round finish. Buzzed all through him. I don't want to brag too much. I picked Ilia Topuria second round KO. He got it in the third round. But yeah, this BMF nonsense is crazy. My guess is they're going to probably have Max Holloway fight Dustin Poirier for the BMF, defend his BMF against Dustin Poirier. That is my kind of early guess for what's next for that BMF. But there really isn't any BMF curse. It's just, oh, I'm the second best. I'm a fan favorite. Now I'm going to go out there against someone a little bit tougher because I have the BMF now. And, you know, I got this illustrious belt, silver belt. And now you're going to get KO'd by the actual best. Okay? Because in reality, Bilal Muhammad is the actual BMF. Okay? Look it up. Look up the lineage of the BMF. Bilal Muhammad is the BMF because Jorge's the BMF. He loses to Usman. Usman's the BMF, loses to Leon. And guess what? Bilal Muhammad went out there and dumped Leon on his bald spot and took his welterweight title, but also took the lineal BMF title with him. So until someone beats Bilal, Bilal's lineal BMF, but we can have Topuria as the BMF because honestly he is. Is there anyone as talented as Ilia Topuria on the roster? Man, power, jiu-jitsu, submission ability, wrestling, fight IQ. He fought a perfect fight. He was chopping the legs to limit the mobility of Max Holloway so we could catch him with some of those clubbing shots, that big right hand, that big left hand. That's what he did tonight. He looked incredible. And to do it against a guy like Max Holloway, I know people are going to say I'm shitting on him this entire video. Max Holloway's an elite level fighter. He's one of the best all time. Okay, let's heap some praise on Max Holloway. He's one of the best all time. Former featherweight champion. On a win streak. Won his last fight at 55 and slumped somebody out cold. Topuria went in there and made it look easy. And I know it was competitive, but I had Topuria win in the first 2 rounds. And, regardless, even if Max was able to survive this one slot in the third round, it was in the bag for Topuria. Let's just be honest. Again, oh no, I don't want no trouble. As soon as that happened, I knew this fight was over. So I look forward to seeing what's next for Ilia Topuria. It's looking like it's going to be Alexander Volkanovski because they bring Volkanovski in the cage and Topuria says, if anyone deserves it, it's you. And it's right. Volkanovski does deserve it. But I don't see it being any different than the first fight. I think Volkanovski's going to get put out cold again. Could he pull it off? Maybe. But I told you guys, and I'll say this even about Ilia Topuria, and hopefully we're far away from this, and I believe we are far away from this. We have to appreciate these guys when they're in their special moment in time because you never know. Tonight could have been Max Holloway's Tony Ferguson, Justin Gaethje moment. The beginning of the end. And once that chin gets cracked, I mean, Max has been taking so much damage for so many years. He's taken more shots than anyone else, I'm pretty sure. There's always that moment. And like that, it's over. Tonight could have been that night for Max Holloway. There will be that night for Ilia Topuria one day. Volkanovski's moment could have already came and gone against Topuria at UFC 298. I've been saying it for a long time. I realized it a long time ago. You don't realize it. These guys are at the top of their game. You're like, oh my God, this guy looks unbeatable. Next thing you know, boom, like that. Done. And they're not on top anymore. And so we're definitely in a special moment in time for Ilia Topuria. He's going to fight Volkanovski next. I don't want to see him versus Diego Lopez. I know Diego Lopez is kind of the it thing in the featherweight division. Topuria would destroy Diego Lopez. Would absolutely destroy him, probably chin him. Lopez doesn't have a chance against Ilia Topuria. The fight to make is if Movsar beats Aljo. I want to see Movsar, but I'm sure Volkanovski's going to get next shot because he was undefeated at featherweight. And then after that, they'll probably have Diego Lopez. Maybe they can do Movsar Lopez too. If Movsar beats Aljamain Sterling in December, then that could be for #1 contender. I think that makes a lot of sense. And if Movsar gets there, we have undefeated Ilia Topuria versus undefeated Movsar Evloev, a fight that was supposed to happen at UFC 270, which was Francis Ngannou's Cyril Gane. I would love to see that fight next year, late 2025. Imagine undefeated Ilia Topuria, undefeated Movsar Evloev. That fight sells itself. I favor Ilia Topuria in that matchup. But yeah, Topuria gets it done. Flatlines Max the blessed Holloway in the third round. And yeah, I think the Max fanboys who were saying, no way Topuria's going to win. No way Topuria's going to knock him out. I think they're a little butthurt tonight. So I'm sorry for you guys. I know Max is a fan favorite. I like Max I like Max personally. I've been doing too many videos today, too many live streams today. Sorry about stuttering over my words. I'm losing my voice as well. This could be his moment. Maybe he rebounds. He says, Max says, I'll be back. This isn't a funeral. He shouldn't be back at 145. He needs to go to 155 and try to restake his claim there. And Islam is going to be fresh out of contenders if he beats Arman Sarukian. So we'll see where Max goes from here. Let me know what you guys thought of the main event down in the comments. Go watch my Khamzat Chimaev Robert Whitaker video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for watching.